What's up, everybody? This is Whiskey in the Six. I'm Rob, continuing with American Whiskey Month, doing a Stranahan'S rundown. So over here I got the yellow label, cask strength, single barrel, 110.69 proof. That's given to me by my boy Jason from the Mash and Drum. I have the Dimond Peak. This is 47%. All right. This one I purchased at the LCBO for $80 Canadian. And this one right here is the sherry cask, and I also purchased this one at the LCBO for $90 Canadian. These seem to be on par with the American prices in the US. I'm sure some states sell it for less, but all the investigating I've done, they're about $80 American for both of these. So not very cheap. I'm going to tell you guys what I think about all three of these, nose them, taste them, and give them a mark. Okay, so really quickly, these are all single malts. I hope to be able to do some single malt American whiskeys this month. I'm hoping to get my hands on a Balcones, but if I can't, these will be the only ones I feature this month. Maybe I'll get some single malts and do them later on in the year outside of American Whiskey Month. All the Stranahan'S whiskeys are created with 4 types of barley. It's a barley whiskey, so it's a single malt. They grow the barley in Colorado. They use mountain spring water for their whiskeys as well. They throw all their whiskey in virgin charred oak casks, which is very similar to the American style of making whiskeys. All right, obviously all bourbons have to be virgin oak. This is not a bourbon because it's a malt, but it's also aged in virgin oak casks, which I find is very cool because you're gonna get older tasting whiskeys that don't need to be aged as long. All right, starting over here with the yellow label. This is similar to your regular yellow label Stranahan'S. It's just cask strength single cask as opposed to the 47% that they mass produce. All right, these are just over 2 years old, I believe, and it's just the virgin oak casks, nothing else done here. On the nose, you get that distillery characteristic that Stranahan'S is known for, in my opinion, and it's a cherry note. I really like it. It's obviously coming from the combination of the 4 barleys in a virgin oak charred cask. That char definitely will bring out that cherry note, but you get it predominantly on all the Stranahan'S that I've tasted so far. It's like peaches, other fruit-like notes going on here as well. Something dessert-like as well, like maybe a peach pie. Really nice. On the palate, so, keep in mind that this is probably less than 3 years old. It's 110.69 proof, but does not drink like cask strength at all. Really nice flavors. That cherry comes through again. Peaches, like a brown sugar cooked down with peaches together in a compote of some sort, maybe being placed into a pie or something dessert-like. That's really nice. Honestly, I've tried the regular yellow label at 47%, and I wasn't the biggest fan, I'm going to be honest with you. It tasted very spirity, very youthful at 47%. They obviously chose a very nice cask here because this is a lot better than that, and it's cask strength, so I really like what they did with this one here. I'm going to taste the other two, and then I'm going to give all 3 a mark. So going on to the Dimond Peak. All right. Again, 4 barleys used in this. Virgin charred oak casks. All right. It's 47% on the Dimond Peak. This one's probably closer to 4 years old. Definitely over 3 years old. So it's just virgin oak casks on this one, which will change, obviously, once we get to the sherry. Okay, it's a little more reserved than the cask strength on the nose. You still get a little bit of that cherry note, a little bit of oak. I'm not getting any of those peach notes that I was getting on the cask strength. All right. Really got to dig this one out as opposed to the cask strength, which was definitely more powerful on the nose. On the palate, So it's a little sweeter on the palate than the Single Cask. More oak forward. Getting that cherry note. Getting a nice char note on the back end. That's really nice stuff. I can't believe that that's younger than 4 years old. It does not drink like it is. I think this would trick a lot of people in a blind tasting. I think people would think that that's probably somewhere in and around 12 to 15 years old. It doesn't taste young to me. Small batch distilleries have to charge more for their whiskey to survive. It costs them more to produce. Once they get to a certain size, it's a lot easier to produce whiskey. You have a lot of whiskey that's already produced. You have money coming in. You can begin to drop your prices. I've seen it done with smaller batch distilleries that have become a little bit bigger, that slowly drop their prices as they become more popular. I think that might happen with Stranahan'S, although they do produce a really nice product at 3 to 4 years old. I don't know how much older they want to get in virgin charred oak casks because that tends to overchar the whiskey. Perhaps they'll be playing a little bit more with sherry. They get it to 4 years old, probably in the virgin oak, transfer it over to a sherry cask for maybe 6-7 years, who knows, upwards of 10-20 years, and then leave it in the sherry cask. I bet you that would give the whiskey a really cool dynamic that we haven't seen yet through Stranahan'S. But this is really nice. Definitely, I would definitely replace this bottle. I think it's really, really good. Moving on to the sherry cask. So as far as batches go, the Dimond Peak is on 022. That's this one right here. This is batch 004 for the sherry cask, so they've obviously been doing it for less, unless the LCBO got an older batch somehow. I think that's pretty cool. All right. Again, aged for 4 years. It's not Joe filtered, no added color, which is what we would expect if you're using virgin oak casks, especially number 3 virgin oak char. But this one says aged for 4 years and finished in Spanish Oloroso sherry casks. Stranahan's sherry cask is hand selected and masterfully crafted by master distiller Rob Dietrich. All right, so I've had this for a while now. Obviously, I've done a little bit of a dent in this one. I've only taken probably about 2 or 3 pulls out of the Dimond's Peak. The Oloroso cask that they use for this one is obviously a good one, because it really stands out despite the fact that it's been aged predominantly in a virgin oak cask for 4 years. Yeah, you get a lot of that raisin, Oloroso goodness, dark fruits. I think it's beginning to be in its money zone. At first, I would get sour cherry blasters like crazy. I'm not getting that as much. It's actually smelling older now. On the palate. Yeah, that's really nice stuff. I would definitely buy a backup bottle of this, probably a few of them if I can. $90 I think is a great price. And this is what I want people to start understanding, is that you can slap 4 years on a bottle and it's the best bottle you have in your arsenal. It doesn't matter how old something is. It matters about the quality of the whiskey. It matters about the quality of the casks that are used. Those are the things that matter. You can have a 40-year-old whiskey compared to a 4-year-old whiskey, and the 4-year-old whiskey is better. Age is just a number. Yes, we want to know how old something is because it gives us a better understanding of what to expect. But a 4-year-old whiskey, like this Stranahan's right here, could stand up to most 12-year-old Scotch, in my opinion. So I don't know if I just have a really good cask. This batch 004 is really, really nice. But it's so smooth. There's no alcohol bite whatsoever. You get all the virgin oak characteristics, but then you get a nice hit of Oloroso flavor as well, which is awesome, I think. I'm going to hit these guys one more time, and then I'm going to give them each a mark. If you live in the United States and buying a single cask is up for grabs, definitely go with this. I think this is awesome stuff. That's an 89 for me. Really, really good stuff. I can't believe it at 2 to 3 years old they're getting these flavors out of a whiskey, and it just goes to show you that if you do things the right way, you definitely don't need to age whiskey that long. Dimond's Peak is a little bit older. I'm gonna give this one an 85. I think it's really good. It's still an A for me. If you only have between the regular yellow label and this Dimond's Peak to pick from, if it's not too much more to grab the Dimond's Peak, I definitely recommend you grab the Dimond's Peak because it's a lot smoother than the regular yellow label. But I would say if you have the single cask to pick from, that's the better bet. So 85 for the Dimond's Peak, 89 for the single cask. And then moving over to this sherry cask, I'm going to have to give that one a 90. Honestly, I think it's really, really good. I think they made a brilliant decision doing 4 years in a charred oak cask and then moving it over to a sherry cask. I really want to know what a few more years in a sherry cask would be like. I think it would be cool to see a 7 or 8 year old sherry cask Stranahan'S, just because I want to know what 50% of its age being in virgin oak and 50% of its age being in sherry cask would do. I think that would be a cool combination. I think that's something that they're probably already experimenting with, but really, really good stuff. I would definitely buy another bottle of this at $90 Canadian. All right. I think what's happening in Colorado is really cool. The aging process is different than almost anywhere else that they make whiskey because of the elevation, which they actually list right on the bottle over here. It says elevation 5,280 above sea level. That's pretty cool. I would be curious to see what other distilleries are at, because I think it's playing a role here. I don't know what the role could possibly be. I don't know if it allows the barrels to work more into the whiskey because of the fluctuation in temperature and that sort of thing, but I think it's really cool what's happening there. I really need to get more into Texas whiskeys because I hear that they're incredible, and I hear that 2-3 years old tastes like 10-15 years old, maybe even older. So I hope to be able to explore some Texas whiskeys as well, but these Colorado whiskeys are very impressive. The sherry cask is definitely the winner in this rundown, but the single cask is awesome stuff, and honestly the Dimond's Peak is nothing to be balking at because it's really good stuff as well. Alright guys, hope you liked this video. You guys can check me out on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Stay tuned because I will be changing my live time for the summer. It's going to likely be a 10 o'clock slot, Eastern Standard Time on a Sunday night, just because I think that that time is still available as far as who goes live on a weekly basis. Also, I think the 10 o'clock slot seems to work better for you guys, the viewer. So my videos will be coming out on Tuesdays and my lives likely Sunday at 10 o'clock, but the schedule will be a little bit up in the air, but look for me on either Thursdays at 8:30 or Sundays at 10 o'clock, and I will give you guys some notice beforehand. Alright, like this video if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and the bell because that'll give you guys an indication as to when I pop up a video or even when I go live. Cheers.